Welcome back to the Three Ways to Say It podcast. I am Ashley.
I'm Todd Carter.
And this your boy KC.
Okay, you guys, welcome back. So tonight we'll be discussing what's going on with these children and these teachers, the dynamic between the two anyway. So we're gonna jump right into it. So you guys saw the the fight between the teacher and the student in Rock Mount, North Carolina, I think. I want to say it's North Carolina.
Just the girl, right?
Yeah. So the teacher confiscated her phone and she wanted it back. And this is just me from watching the video now. She wanted the phone back. And when she tried to get the phone back, the student kind of swung on her a little, and the teacher caught the swing, and they just started going at it or whatever, right? So, with that being said, my question is, has the respect level of teachers changed, and why?
I guess I go first. Since I done got my degree in like teaching and stuff like that, the one thing people tell me, what kind of give me advice to not do, is teach younger children because of how they are today. Being a,
so like what age? When you say younger,
so
like what age?
They tell me not to even teach none of it. It's hard to teach kindergarten. It's hard to teach middle school, and especially hard to teach high school. They just say stick to what I'm doing, and all the children bad. Now there's some good children there, but overall, I don't think children look as teachers as their elders and stuff anymore. I think, and I don't know if it's because there's so many young teachers now, or they feel like these people are so close in age where they don't have to show respect, or is it the fact that they just don't have respect for teachers no more? And I do feel bad for teachers because, who else gonna teach our children, the fundamentals of education or whatever? So yeah, I think the respect level is down the drain. I don't know. Of course, it started at home, but I just say that for this later in the episode. But I do think the respect level is gone. I don't think it's one. It's rarely one. So yeah.
Okay, so I got kids in school. I think it's a little bit of both. I know that I just had an incident with Addison just Tuesday where Addison said that her and her gym teacher had a little altercation. So they were in gym and she called out. So they was playing, I don't know what it was that they were playing, but when she called out, he was like in. And so I think she was closer to the ball or whatever it was. And she was like, no, it's out. And then she said that pretty much he just started going, and he decided that he said in front of the rest of the children, I am not going to be arguing with no little ASS girl. So she was just expressing that she wanted me to call the school and make a big deal about it. And she was like, I really need you to just be extra. And I was like, no. I said, of course he doesn't need to speak to you in that manner. And so I told her that I will handle it, but I'm not just going to go on what my child told me, because I also know how my child acts too in certain situations and things like that when she feels that she's right about something. So I just decided that, I will email the teacher and give him an opportunity to tell his side instead of going over his head is what I decided to do.
Let me say this. I ain't gonna play devil advocate, but now I'm not saying that some teachers don't be doing wrong stuff. Like when you said like the coach did say something, because these days some of these teachers do think these children are their children and feel like they can say whatever and do whatever. And then some of these children have these these mentalities that you can't say them nothing. So I do think that's where a lot of that back and forth will start with them anyway. I think a lot of teachers I think back in the day, we probably was able to get like spankings and stuff from teachers, but because of how times have changed, you can't really allow all teachers to do that because it's some crazy people out here. So I do think that a lot of teachers probably go kind of sometimes forget, okay, yeah, these are children, but then you can't care that you can't
Right.
really do some stuff because these are not my children. And yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Ashley.
Yeah, I personally think that the respect level has changed. For example, growing up, I would say that the consequences, like our consequences, right? So if we just so happen to bring a phone to school or something like that, and it gets taken, right? It's just took. It's no, oh, you better give me my phone. Or you're going to the office because you're not supposed to have the phone at school. So why do you have it? You know,
Mhm.
also parenting, when a teacher is disciplining us, right? Or disciplined us, I'm sorry, our parents didn't object to that. It wasn't no, my child didn't do this, my child didn't do that.
Mhm.
In the classroom, it's my word against hers or his. It's his classroom, her classroom, and that's just what it is. They tell you
Mhm.
to do something, you do it.
Yep.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, am I saying that was the right way? I'm not saying it is. I don't know. I
Mhm.
don't have any children, but that's just how it was.
Yeah.
So I would say times definitely have changed because what I'm hearing now and seeing in the comments, oh, my child wouldn't do this. It's the teacher. I know it's the teacher. So when is it your child?
Right. Yeah. That's why
And
that's
another thing, like my mom always tell me, like even if I did get in trouble at school again, the same way with Edison, I'm like, okay, I need you to say something. She was like, I know how you are at home. Why I'm gonna go up there and act a fool for?
yeah.
Yep.
She said,
Yeah.
oh, I know how you are at home. I'm like,
Right.
really? And most of the time she was right. Was it times where
Yeah.
teachers really were just having a bad day and they just wanted to start something? Yeah. But majority
Yeah.
of the time it was me. So
Yeah.
we have to be for real, right?
Actually, you
Yeah.
must have said then.
No, not bad. No, I just said what I had to say. If you're gonna
Right.
tell me to be quiet, you got to tell everybody else to be quiet.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Uh, and it's funny you say that because as my mama can tell you, I most of my somebody calling her is because if like for example, I think I did tell this example, like we was in the library and me and my friends was talking about the fair. Now we all went to the fair with children, we talking about the fair. I mean it is the library, but mine is the school library. So we ain't count it, we ain't look at it like the public library. So we was of course in there talking or whatever. And I think she might have said it the first time, but I know for sure I did not hear her tell us to be quiet. And then everybody else did, but they kept talking. I didn't know. And then that second time and then the second time I wasn't even talking. It was everybody else I was just in the group. And then she told me to call my mama. And I was like, I don't want to call my mom.
Right.
Oh, I done had them.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and then I called my mama, and my mama said, "You know what time it is? You get home." I was like, "Man, I ain't even do nothing." So yeah, I can say sometimes, yeah, I was running that mouth a little too much. They had to be accountable, or
Right.
hold your children
I
accountable.
didn't really get in trouble. I didn't really get in trouble at school, but I would talk a lot. So like if she would probably send a note saying, and I had it on my report card, y'all. It says Latasha talks entirely too much,
Yeah.
in class. But other
Yeah.
than that, like never really, because I was one of those kids where I didn't want to get in trouble. And so I didn't want my mom to have to get on to me about something. So I really wouldn't pretty much do too much of nothing for real at school. I mean, I still was a kid, but I think I just did more talking when I didn't need to talk when I got finished with my work. But other than that, I ain't really do
Yeah.
nothing.
So,
Well, I got
okay, the next,
Yeah.
I guess my next question too would be, how we always say it takes a village to raise kids, right? So, does that play a major part in the teaching? When I say that, do you think now teachers are afraid to actually discipline? Because we, in you know what, I'm gonna say in a general sense too, not just teachers. So if you see a child outside throwing rocks at somebody's car, right? Black child.
Mm-hmm.
And would you just say, hey, you don't need to do that, right? Or would you just be like, hey, my car? You know, just go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest.
I don't say.
I think I'm about to say yeah. I don't think, and it's only because I know what
And
could
tell
possibly.
me why. Okay. So yeah.
And the reason, and I'm gonna do the teacher and just in general. So for me, being that's one of the things where I wouldn't be wouldn't teach children of the younger ages because of the fact that just say I did have that right mindset and I wasn't right and that child was wrong. Depending on how I go about it, the way I discipline could be different from how they parent discipline, or what I can do. I might look at it as small, but the parent don't want you to do nothing. And
Right.
if a parent come up there and quote unquote acts up on me after I discipline, it's kind of like I'm in the wrong. I could be in the right and wrong, because I could be in the right. It's like, okay, this is my classroom, whatever. But then at the same time, it's not my child. So of course, you do have to put the responsibility on the parents, like tell them do right. But if they come here and do stuff, it's kind of like I honestly would take the high road to a lot of stuff with these children be doing these days. I don't think I'm ever gonna let it get to the point. And knock on wood, if I ever do teach and let a child, well, I'm gonna fight a child. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just not doing it. I would just never go that far. I'm not gonna put my hands on a child. It's just not worth it to me, because these children. I mean, honestly, because them parents gonna back them up. I mean, it's kind of like you lose. They ain't gonna get in trouble here. They ain't gonna, right. They ain't gonna get in trouble here. They ain't gonna get in trouble at home. So what really you gonna gain from it? So that's the teacher part, and like I say, the reason I wouldn't do this because of what can possibly happen next. I don't feel like it's worth my career. Now, if a child was throwing a rock outside of somebody's car, I ain't saying it to them either. Now, it's kind of like you kind of have to be iffy. Like, do you even want to tell their parent? I don't know. The parent might buck on you for saying, "Why you grabbing my child?" I don't know.
Right.
But maybe I can go out there and tell the person that that's car it is, and be like, just watch your car. But I don't think I'm saying that to their child or parent. It just parents and their children and their parents are just case sensitive. Like, you literally cannot do nothing with it. So I just don't feel like it'd be worth the argument, because it's like a lose-lose situation. You could be right, but when it's a parent and that child, that that's theirs, it's nothing you can really argue with. So yeah, that's me. I'm sorry.
Honest, Casey, it's dangerous to do
It
that
is.
now, because I have heard where incidents will be where the child will tell the parent something, and then that parent will go back up. Because I know one of my coworkers, she was telling me, because she works for the school system, and so she was telling me where they had an incident at a school here. I ain't gonna even call out the city. Let me not do that. We live near. I mean, we don't live. We work near the city. I'm sorry, we work in the city. But anyway, so the child had, and so the parent came up there, and so the next thing you know, the parent got mad because, so it was. Let me just back up. The children were fighting, and one girl got the best of the other little girl. So her mom came up there. So when her mom came up there, she kind of snuck through administration, and next thing you know, she down there fighting with the child. So you have to be careful. And they had to call the police to come and break it up. She said it was just so crazy, but it also was so messed up that the parent went to those lengths only because their child did not win the fight. And then think about it. You're fighting, but you don't know if that parent brought a gun or whatever to the situation. I just feel like if it's two children fighting, and they just happen that's just that. I'm not fixing to be fighting kids. But then on the other side, I'm just going now. If it's me, the mom, and the other parent or whatever, and then they swing on Addison. I mean, oh baby, we finna tear it up. So I'm just saying, I won't want to do that. But if I'm on site, something for my daughter, I'm gonna go into mother mode, and we'll all be in there acting crazy, but I won't want to do that. But then at that particular point, what you going to do if the parent is there and the parent is trying to fight your child, So I'm not saying nothing to else child, because you clearly something ain't right if they throwing rocks at a car, like you said earlier.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna try to parent them. I'm gonna let them throw. As long as they ain't throwing the car, those rocks at my car, then we good.
Right.
And
then you also had those parents where they quote unquote coddle their child or feel like their child can't do nothing wrong. So really, what can you go with that regardless? So even if you go tell them something, they booking at you regardless because they don't think their child did nothing wrong. They not realistic. Which, and those are the children who grow up and do all this stuff even worse because they ain't nobody telling them they wrong at nothing. Like they throwing rocks at the car, the next thing gonna be doing something worse than that. You know what I'm saying? If they realize they getting away with everything now, what you think they gonna do in the future? So yeah, that's the parents that coddle their children and feel like, oh no, you right in everything, even though you didn't slap 5 teachers, you good, you know, like
right.
you so good, you know, ain't nothing wrong. Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I'm gonna get to that too.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how I was saying, lose.
And I know, and the reason why I said that is too, because I know on the last episode we talked about, bridging the generation. So one thing I do appreciate about the generation before me is, us having repercussions for the things that we do, right? So to answer the question, if I see a child out there throwing rocks, would I say something to him or her? No, probably not, because again, this day and age, a village raising a child is something that's just out the window. Back then it was, hey, you're not supposed to be doing that. I'm finna call your mama and your mama finna tell you up. That's where we grew up in, the area that we grew up in. For one, we ain't finna be throwing rocks at no car because we knew what was gonna happen if we did. Now, I'm not saying we were angels, we wasn't. Now we were throwing rocks probably at something else, but we weren't throwing a rock at the car. But I personally would probably just go ahead and call the police and let the police handle that. Now, we know, again, the day and age with the police and Black children and Black people. But at the same time, parents should know this too. There is too many resources, too much stuff going on in the news for you not to know. Now, we know kids, you can tell them and give them the rule book on life. They're going to do what they want to do, right? But at the same time, we know you throwing rocks at a car purposely anyway. That's no, because if it was my car, I need somebody to do something about it. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's me. So I'm gonna turn it to I ain't gonna say Karen. I'm turning to Bertha, baby. But okay, so to move on to slapping the teachers, there was an incident in Florida back in February where a 6'6", 270-pound young male, 17 years old, knocked a teacher unconscious because she took his Nintendo Switch, whatever that is. I don't know what it is.
That's a little hell hand thing.
Got a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do y'all feel about that? Tell me what your thoughts are on that. And let me explain the video just to give y'all a So in the video, I can see the teacher, like she was standing way back, and he came over and just pushed her down. When he pushed her down, I feel like that's what knocked her unconscious because she fell back. When she fell back, the boy went right over there and was just hitting her, the back of her head, boom, boom, kicking the back of her head, everything. Teachers, whoever it was, came over to try to get him off of her. Even while they were trying to hold him, he was still just boom, boom, kicking her. What is going on? Like, I just want to know what do y'all think about that? What do you feel like is going on with this phone with technology and taking it away from children? I'm just gonna say technology in general.
Okay. Now, when I was in school, we actually did get in trouble for having phones and stuff like, like if we had them, they always told us to keep them in our pocket. We were not on phones in the classroom and stuff like that. Now, children be in class on Snapchat. That's how we see these videos because children had their phones out. So I think with times going on, and I hate this. I'm not gonna say it because it's younger teachers. It's just administration that just don't care. I feel like that
Yeah.
as much as they loosen those rules up, that's when the bad gonna happen. Because if you let them just go around with the phone, I mean, that's just one thing. Social media in the school already, instead of just letting them get out of school and tell them put their phones up, let them get out of school and wait to do that stuff when they got out of school. They letting them have their phones and stuff. Now it's not rules anymore. It's like
Mm-hmm.
whatever goes for the children. Like they treat them like they're adults. They're not in college, but they get treated like it. But what I would say about the situation, that's why I feel for teachers who teach younger children, because I feel like they have a responsibility and duty to first just teach the children, teach them.
Mm-hmm.
They probably doing the education part. I don't think it's their responsibility to be policing and raising children. Which it is some cases where teachers are just they just take children under their wing and help them out for stuff they don't get at home. But I do feel like the at home matters more than anything. I don't think a teacher should worry about a child coming in and hitting her, and it's because
Mm-hmm.
at home there's some home training that is not at home. Like somebody's not telling them they're wrong. They're doing this stuff at home. And then, with that boy, not to even give him no real leeway, it did seem like something was a little wrong with him. I don't know. That's just observation. But if it
Mm-hmm.
was, he should be under some type of supervision or something at home. Like somebody should already be noting these mental things at home, or he should be
Mm-hmm.
under a different type of learning at school. And that's what I mean. Like it's like they let children slip through the cracks. And I wish some parents at home will realize that these patterns and stuff you see, if they're doing it in the house, I'm not trying to see what makes you think they won't do it outside the house. I mean,
Right.
if you learn everything at home and you're not telling me I'm doing nothing wrong at home, of course I'm gonna go practice it somewhere else. It's nothing holding me. I'm gonna look at it all the same. Nobody telling me I'm wrong, so I'm gonna do this. And that's why I say when you don't say your child are doing something wrong, it lead up to something worse. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure somebody seen him be aggressive before. If he just
Mm.
will, just went straight to that. I'm pretty sure somebody took that from him before, and he didn't threw a table over it and flipped a couch as big as he was, and did something.
Yeah.
Um, and for them not to like do nothing about it, look what it led to, him doing it to some teacher who probably wasn't even doing that wrong to him, just probably something just take, probably took it in the nicest way possible. And look where it ended up. She was unconscious. So yeah, I think like I say, it always start from home. Like those patterns are important. Pay attention to them. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's all I got
Was
on that.
just thinking that sometimes these kids, they have a hostile environment. So it could just be things that he's seeing in the home. It ain't just from what she did. It's something else got to be going on with this
Mm-hmm.
child for them to just
Mm-hmm.
that much anger and rage. And I think a lot of times we don't understand that. So it's like the school is thinking, hey, we supposed to show you this. And then, the parents is trying to do their job. But again, that's when everybody have to kind of communicate and to try to, help the child out as best you can. But man, there's so many people out there hurting kids and, kids too. So I just feel
Mm-hmm.
sorry for children that are in situation that's just that bad that got to come to school
Yeah,
and disrupt the class and act in
that's
that
true.
manner. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both of you all. Especially with, the things that's going on in the home. I would actually say I don't think his game has been taken away from him at home for him to get
Mm-hmm.
that mad. I think sometimes I would say as parents, but I'm not a parent, that I can see some parents, especially when we're out at dinner, even like at the park and stuff, when I go up to the schools to go running, your child is walking with you with the phone, with the
Yep.
game. What,
oh
take
yeah,
this
I'll
stuff
do that.
away.
I'll do that.
It's
And
Mm-hmm.
yes, get like, how can I say, you allow these kids to be social when we're
of course,
at,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
some of us pick up our phones during dinner, like, hey, yeah, we're talking, blah, blah. But the whole time watching a movie, eating. What? No, take this stuff
Yeah.
away from them. So when they accidentally take it to school and they're on it and the teacher takes it away, they're not enraged,
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing that
Right.
I would say about that. But I do think it is something that he was dealing with at home. And we as a community do have to play a part in helping the mother as well. Like you said, if they notice, and even from the fight, I would say it did, just watching it seem like something was wrong mentally with him.
I didn't
And
tell.
still, yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
And not saying it's right, because it's still not right. But
Mm-hmm.
my question is, did the school already see this? Did the mother already see this and not say anything? Was he not in special classes?
Oh, breaking.
Sometimes we just, like you said, let our students slip through these cracks, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not fair to them. So going back to the teacher and the young ladies fight, right? So I saw the video, and I'm just gonna have to be honest, right? So for me, I felt like the situation could have been handled differently in a way. Just hold on, no, she had to protect herself because the girl did swing on her.
Mm-hmm.
But before the swing, because and let me say this too, the teacher did make a video and she did say that she called for the principal or whoever even before this situation, and no one ever came. So that
Right.
shows you too a lot what type of school this is, and the administration as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
even just going back to the fight, I feel like at this point, if the kids want their phone back, give it to them. It's kind of like at work, right? If we're saying, or you're at your job, and we're saying, hey, you're in a leadership role, this person is doing this, can you handle this? And you're talking to your manager, right? And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I'll handle it. Go
Mm-hmm.
out there, week later, person still doing the same thing, he never said anything. Boom. Okay, hey, can you handle this person? I told you about it last week. Still don't do
Right.
anything. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, we just gonna let them continue to do the same thing until you feel the need to go say something. Because at this point, it's like you. I don't want to say, like, if you don't say anything, then you're gonna get in trouble. If you do say something, uh, more than likely you probably could get in trouble too. Take that out because I don't know what I'm trying to say. But
Okay.
the whole point is, I just feel like at this point, just give them what they want. You
Yeah.
Mhm.
don't even take the phone. Just say put your phones away. You don't put them away, especially after you told the principal, and he's not coming to the class. I understand everybody's so busy at the school and the
Mm-hmm.
counselors, uh,
Mm-hmm.
to where you can't take the time out and handle these students properly. Let them have the phone, and that's just how I see it. What y'all
Yeah.
think?
I, and I say the same thing. I said if I was to literally have to teach younger children, because I know how this generation behind me acts, and I know that you can't really tell them anything. I know it's crazy. Like they used to tell us in middle school, they the worst time. I feel like the middle schoolers now are like middle school time 20. Like they are not like how we used to be. They say all middle school bad. Now I think the middle schoolers now is probably 20 to like anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think I would take the high road on stuff. I feel like it's the same way. Like you literally, if you don't, look what happens. I feel like even if you, yeah, I saw the video. There's a man fighting a little younger dude. He was fighting like one of the students. He was a substitute teacher or something, and he told the boy to sit down. He went sit down. He kept saying to be quiet. He went be quiet. It's like that. It's right in that middle. Like you cannot let these children anger you enough to where I'm think you finna get up and hit them because he hit the boy. He actually hit the child first.
Mm.
Hmm.
He was booking. He was booking
Oh,
at him,
I
but
saw that. I
yeah, he was
saw that
booking
one. I
at
know.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he hit the child first, even though he was booking. It's like you kind of sometimes have to remember these are children, right? So eventually, this bad stuff they doing, they gonna learn one day. You had to look at
Right.
it like these are children. Children ain't gonna always act right. They ain't gonna do the right thing all the time. So I look at it like if you want your phone, I'm actually I'm be honest with you, I'm not gonna take nobody's stuff that's in their position. I'm not taking your stuff. I'm not doing it. I
Hmm.
don't want to be responsible for your stuff anyway. I just if I set rules up, you don't want to follow them. Like you say, you could get a principal to look whatever. Some people do write ups. You could. I mean, you in control of their grade. You got to look at it like that. These are children. I mean, to be honest, they're
Whoa.
children.
Okay,
You know what I'm
now see,
saying?
you just said something sparked me. You said you in control of that grade.
You are.
Okay, now what you saying?
Yeah. So it's like you gotta actually act as that teacher. What you are here to do is teach. You are not here. This is not a jail. And you are not like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, got the keys to the jail cell. Them children gonna be children. You just control that grade. You make sure you go in there every day, do your job. Um, I don't feel like you not fighting a teacher. Fighting a student is not doing your job. You know how some people act like, well, if I don't get up and say that, I'm not doing my job. That's not in your job description. You were never supposed to be like
Mhm.
this person that fights. You know, like you're not supposed to get physical with no students. It shouldn't even get that far. So that's why I said you literally. I think I would take the high road because as a teacher, I'm just gonna be
Right.
a teacher. I run that
Mhm.
grade. Trust me, you up here doing all this stupid stuff. Don't worry about it. At the end, I bet you're gonna be asking for extra credit. You know what I'm saying? Half the time them children acting up, don't be doing their work anyway. And they're gonna be the same
Yeah.
ones that ask for help regardless. You know, you just have to let them learn. I don't feel like it'll ever get to the point where I'm gonna get physical or do this stuff. So, but yeah, what you said,
Who, me?
Yeah. Okay, so
Oh.
Miss Tuss.
I gotta go back in with you. Okay, so
Oh,
my little 13-year-old, which is an honor student, she had her
mm-hmm,
phone, but let me tell you what she did. So, and my child loves her phone, y'all. I'm just gonna tell you, like she
mm-hmm,
does. And so the teacher took her phone, so
mm-hmm,
she had a it to text me to say that he had took the phone. And so she
mm-hmm,
was telling me that I need you to call school so that you can get my phone back. Because again, my children think I'm a hired gun. So
mm-hmm,
I said to her, you took your phone, it's because you had it out doing class. I
mm-hmm.
said, so I'm not phone back. I say, you're going to get that phone back when he give it back to you because you
Yeah.
know that it's not locked. And so I just let her phone, but it worked right on out because at the end of the class, he gave it right back to her.
Mm-hmm.
And so what the teacher did, because they had the little incident about the phone or whatever, and he you know, he let me know about it. He was just like, you know, I took her phone today. And then we had a whole conversation about Addison. He was like, she's a great student. He was like, but she will pull out that phone. And so I told him that I will speak to Addison about that. But because she was a good student and this was something that was repeatedly happening with his good student, he was just
Mm-hmm.
like, I like it. And so he did something about it. He contacted me about the phone. And I was just like, I said, yeah, she told me about it, but I was not going to do anything that Edison wanted me to do
Right.
pertaining to no phone because you should not have your phone out doing school,
Yeah. And
whether you
that's
make good
Mhm.
or not.
right. And that's
Do
the
what you got to
teacher.
Mhm.
do.
And that's that teacher parent relationship you want. I feel like that's where if that's why I think the flaws of the, now I think these teachers aren't able to have these relationships with parents where I could just call you and tell your child
Yeah.
is doing something and they're gonna be held accountable, they're gonna be disciplined, but they ain't gonna come in here and do it tomorrow. And that's the problem. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's good. I'm glad you do have that relationship with, the teachers where they can call and you can
Mhm.
actually talk to her and some change can happen. But that's the problem where it's like it won't happen with these other students. You know what I'm saying? Like these, you could call and say like this child doing this or whatever. The parents probably like you had or what you did.
Mhm.
It's just not that. It's supposed to be the teacher and parent relationship that I feel like is not present like it should be. You should be able to
Right.
call somebody parent and tell them they doing something. They should go home and like we did, used to get them whippings. Then they come back the next day. I bet they ain't doing it again. But yeah, so yeah.
But now,
Right.
let me tell on myself. I am going to tell myself now. Now, she did text me one time and she told me, she was like, I got a C in his class. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We don't get C's.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to email him very fast to say to him, I had to let him know this child have never got a C in her life. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how she has a C in your class midpoint. And so he was
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mhm.
no, it's just point. And so yeah, we got to that. So I'm not gonna lie. So that's why I smirked earlier when you said something about a grade, because I'm not gonna lie, like a grade, then I be acting like one of them
Yeah.
come to
There,
the
yeah.
school with their house on,
Uh-huh.
like
That
what did
way
you
it hurt. Yeah, because that's what it's about. Them grades matter. That's what it's about too. And that's you in
Yep.
school to get them grades. So yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So to touch on just one more little part is okay. So I know some parents would say my child takes their phone to school because of the school shootings and stuff that's going on, which is true and fair. And also, I know Keontae, you said before, like when you were younger, you had to take a phone to school because you would be
Just
at home
riding
by
the bus.
yourself. Your mom just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure you made it home safely, right?
Right.
Right.
So I think for me, in those type of cases, I still would say that the kids can still bring the phone to school, but
Mm-hmm.
the teacher need to have a basket or something right there by the desk, and everybody need to put their phone in there.
Mm-hmm.
Or if your phone rings, cut your phone off. Like either
Right.
way, even if God forbid a mass shooting did happen at the school, you still can't come in there as a parent. You're not allowed in this school until,
Mm-hmm.
I think they take all the kids out first or whatever. So I know that you want to know if your child is alive. I want to know if my niece is allowed. I mean,
Right.
alive. I'm sorry. But just specifically saying like taking up the phones, I think it's still okay. They're still in the classroom, and I think
Mm-hmm.
to me, I'm just gonna be honest. Sorry, I think most parents, some of them just be saying it just so that could be a reason why your child has the phone in school. So he's like, oh, she got her
Mm-hmm.
phone just in case, so I can know she alive. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Mm-hmm.
like, be for real. Let's
Mm-hmm.
let's just cut the bull, like for real.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know that it's true, but at the same time, only a parent knows the truth. Like, is
Yeah.
that really the truth, or are
Mm-hmm.
you afraid to say leave your phone at home? At
Mm-mm.
this point, I'm starting to think some of these parents scared of their children. That's
Yeah.
just me. They are afraid
Yeah.
of their children to say
Mm-hmm.
no. Let me say that, to say no.
Right. And I say, isn't that wrong? And I like I say now, like, what the day and age we are in. So, children probably are not gonna need their phone at school. It's too much going
Mm-hmm.
on for them not to have some way to contact. It ain't like all of them can sit in the line and, call on the little school phone. That ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
So they need a fast way to get to their parents or whatever. But yeah,
Right.
like you said, I think it's like I always say, it start at home. So you had to tell your child like, and it's fine. We all just slipped up. We all done pulled our phone out like
Mm-hmm.
everybody else had theirs also. We want to put it out too. So we done all
Right.
Right.
slipped up now. And this social media stuff is addicting. So it makes sense. Um,
Yes.
but you know what I mean? Like you had to tell your child, like, okay, you take your phone to school, don't lose that phone, don't be pulling it out in class. That's how my mama say stuff like that. She used to tell her that it would be funny, even when I got to college, my mom be like, if I text her and she know I was in class, she be like, you texted me in class? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I know I'm in the bathroom or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that you gotta have that like that mentality. Like tell your child, yeah, you're gonna have this phone, just tell them the importance of that phone, but just know like don't act like this phone your best friend, like you can't put it down, put it in your
Right.
pocket, learn, then you can maybe, I don't know if they let them use it in lunch and all that, maybe do it then or something, not in a class setting,
Mm-hmm.
because you gotta learn, like you don't want that phone to be in the way of you learning. So yeah, I do think, like I always say, start at home. It's just everything always
Yeah.
start at home.
The mental health, like we talked before about the students too. If we look at it, school is really set up like work. And it's getting up in the morning, going to
Mm-hmm.
work, coming back home, and think about it. If you're doing homework, that means you're dealing with school when you come home.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, while we were in school, that's just something that we have to deal with, right? We had to deal with it. And with social media, it's really just showing now like how stressful that really is for some students.
Mm-hmm.
For
Mm.
me, I felt like I was okay because I liked the social part of school. Work was good, class was good. But for some students, that is a lot. Even for the all A students, like just think
Right.
about that. Like
Mm-hmm.
school is setting you up for work.
Yeah.
What if I
Right.
don't want to? What if I don't want to work like that when I get older? What if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to be influencers?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I just wanted to throw that in there. Yeah.
um I'm gonna just say it since we it's on the topic. And I just feel for teachers. I think because I guess, yeah, being a professor, I guess I'm a future educator. So I just want to say it is to the point of, I think a lot of teachers, because of what's going on, I've seen cases where teachers are frustrated because children don't listen to them and children
Right.
act up on them and they get frustrated. It make them not have the passion to teach anymore. Like it literally, because it becomes more than this, you're supposed to go in as an educator. So I'm coming in to just teach you something. I'm coming in to, build a foundation, for you. So when I come in and have to deal with all these other stuff like children acting up and children, like you've seen it, it's bad. So I would say to those teachers out there, just know that your purpose is still to educate. I don't feel like some young children, you might have a bad class. Just realize there's some students out there that do deserve to learn. Some of them are not going to get it like the other ones. You know, school is not for everybody. And some that come to school to be a class clown, and some do come to learn. So I do think, and it is hard to do, but I do feel like if you are educator teaching young children, just kind of try to make sure that those children who are quiet and acting right, just focus on them. You know, those children acting up and stuff, trust me, they're going to wish later that they learned it. Just, you know, just go in, try to just teach those children that are there to learn, that are acting right. You know, don't let those children, you know, like they say, like what did they say? Like one bad apple mess up the whole basket of apples or something like that, whatever. Don't let that group of bad children just ruin that whole experience for you, because I know a lot of people are born to be educators. Like they're just good at teaching people. So yeah, and I would say just for teachers, just you are important. Don't let that deter you from your passion. That's it. Teach them kids. Yeah, that was it.
So my last remarks would be is that a lot of my friends and my close relatives are educators. And so I've heard like a lot of stories, but I would just say that, you know, you have to have a passion for being around kids, especially when they're not yours. Yes. I say that, you know, just try to be the best example when you're in the schools and try to stay professional. And then also to just try to understand that some of these kids just want love. And so a lot of time they may not get the love that they need at home. So they be looking for it at school. And then also too, sometimes y'all, the only meal that the children get is when they go to school, you know? So a lot of time these kids in real bad situations. So my heart goes out to, you know, those counselors and those teachers and administrations, because they're dealing with so many kids, and, you know, they're trying to, you know, discipline and support and, you know, do things for children without letting somebody fall through the cracks. So I do think that we, you know, need to, you know, do some volunteering at the schools and, you know, and just try to see what's going on as parents so that you can help the teachers in those classrooms, because them children be doing a lot of stuff. I always wanted to be a teacher in my life. You know, I said that's something I want to do, but when I would visit my kids' class, I tell those teachers, man, I couldn't do your job.
Ain't no way.
Because like you said, with middle school and them little children, they just be all over the place. And man, I probably be needing to go to the restroom and take a time out or something. So my heart, teachers, they got a real serious job.
They do. Yeah.
So that's
yeah. Love on them teachers.
I know. The only thing I have to say is, of course, shout out to all the teachers out there. I personally respect you in the job that you do. I agree with Tasha. When I go out, it was one time we went somewhere. I can't remember where I was, but the kids were on a field trip, and you can see them just everywhere. And the teacher's just like, hey, calm down, you know. And I'm just like, ain't no way. Like, but you just have to respect them because they have that patience in them. And hey, I love it. I love to see it. And think about this too. We're at the end of the year, so summer break is coming up.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Yeah.
I wish I had
to be out.
Yeah.
I know right? They have the best breaks too, so that's another thing that we got to be for real. Like y'all had a whole summer off.
Don't they get spring break off, or do they still be working?
Spring break, and they get some schools get a fall break.
Wait, Christmas too, right? Like
Thanksgiving.
Man.
But so told me when I was talking to the same thing, she said, but we need those breaks. She said, but those kids are so much. They said they need them breaks. And so when she said
that's true,
they really do need those breaks.
They do. I agree.
You need them away from them.
Right. Exactly.
I know, right.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also comment. Let us know who was your favorite teacher and how did they inspire you? And what do you think about this fight that went on with the young female and the teacher? Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys. See you later.
Don't forget to share.
Yes,
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 share.
yes, yes. Do that. Do that
Click subscribe right now.
right now.